have successfully collaborated on this project to produce a series of 7 micro-learning courses that we feel employees either entering the workplace or currently in the workplace looking to improve their skills would benefit from. These 7 topics are as follows: agile self and time management, communication and interpersonal skills, personal branding, digital skills for the future, creative problem solving and critical thinking, global citizenship, social and emotional intelligence. We hope you will enjoy this course, and please make sure to access the workbook that accompanies the course to take full advantage of the learning. Have fun and good luck. Creative problem solving and critical thinking. Albert Einstein said, "We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them." In any stage of our lives, we need to train our brains to look at situations and problems differently, open our minds to new ideas, and use scientific reasoning on our problems. With the workplace changing so fast, the way we learn and what we learn needs to adapt to prepare us for jobs that do not exist now. This means accepting we don't know how the jobs of the future will look like. Now, before we go any further, I would like to provide a definition of what is a problem. A problem is a situation preventing something from being achieved. The word comes from a Greek word meaning an obstacle, something that is in your way. Someone who has a problem must find a way of solving it. The means of solving a problem is called a solution. Every day, from an entry-level employee to the chairman of the board, problems need to be resolved. Whether solving a problem for a client, internal or external, supporting those who are solving problems, or discovering new problems to solve, the challenges faced may be simple, complex, easy or difficult. A fundamental component of every manager's role is solving problems. So helping employees become confident problem solvers is critical to their success. And confidence comes from processing an efficient and practical problem-solving process. So helping employees become confident problem solvers is critical to their success. And confidence comes from possessing an efficient and practical problem-solving process. So how many times have you tried to solve a problem only to get stuck in the process? In a business setting, this is a common occurrence. You're faced with issues that traditional problem-solving methods simply can't solve. But you still need to find a way to fix the issue, to move a project forward or resolve a conflict. This is where you may need to get creative to solve the problem at hand. This is when creative problem solving comes in. It is a process that we can use to bridge a gap between a present situation and a desired goal. We go through this process almost every day at work to make decisions and get our jobs done. Furthermore, we are often encouraged to think outside of the box when searching for solutions for a problem. Therefore, it is important to adapt a creative approach to problem solving at work. It is always better to have more than one option to problem solving resolution. Creative ideas do not suddenly just appear in people's minds. Instead, they are usually results of trying to solve a specific problem or to achieve a certain goal. Now, it is important to also point out that creative problem solving is not just brainstorming, although that's what many people may associate it with. It's actually a well-defined process that can help you from problem definition to implementing solutions. Here are 6 steps that can be followed when solving problems creatively. Step number 1. Identify and understand the problem. Sometimes we are faced with various changes in the workplace or need to do things more efficiently but are not sure how to tackle the issue. In the creative problem-solving process, it is essential to start by identifying the real problem or goal at hand. If it seems unclear, ask for clarification until you fully understand the problem. If the situation seems so overwhelming, and the problem seems compounded, break it down into multiple simple questions and tackle them one at a time. Step 2, gather information. After identifying the problem, the next step is to find and collect information, knowledge, feelings, facts, opinions, and thoughts. What do you know about the situation? What do you still need to know? It is important to gather as much information and unbiased input as you can. Customer surveys, employee comments, and research data are great resources. Step 3, allow yourself time to think. Creative solutions to a problem do not emerge in the snap of a finger. It takes time. Except when dealing with a crisis situation, you want to allow yourself sufficient time to be thoughtful about your ideas. Get up from your desk and take a break when you feel you are not going anywhere. Sometimes it helps the creative thinking process when you are physically away from the problem, because you are able to see things from a completely different viewpoint. Step 4, brainstorm and generate ideas. Brainstorm as many ideas or alternatives as possible. Don't evaluate them. Generate an idea pool of a variety of solutions to your problem. Now at this point, it's important to generate as many ideas and alternatives as possible that are also relevant to the problem identified, so that the judgment at the next step will be applied to each in an effort to generate the best course of action to do. Asking for other people's help will also be beneficial at this stage. Now in this step, I would also like to introduce you to the cause and effect method, which is unique in that it encourages creative thinking as well as brainstorming in the process of breaking down the issues and aligning them with the process of finding its solutions. This technique of analysis is also known as the fishbone diagram. It was developed by Professor Ishikawa, a pioneer professional in the field of quality management in the 1960s. The diagram is called fishbone because its final look is in the form of a fishbone. It was initially used for quality improvement, but can also be helpful in analyzing business processes through the identification of its causes and hindrances, as well as on ways to improving it. The cause and effect analysis basically involves two key steps, which are looking backward and looking forward. In looking backward, the analysis focuses on identifying ways in which mistakes were made or money was lost. It looks into what happened before. In identifying where the issues are, you are able to work towards avoiding the problems in the future. Another advantage of this is that you'll be able to replicate a positive outcome. Looking into the future and planning for it, the analysis seeks to find workable solutions that are able to be implemented in the future and build on the future success of the business. This analysis really enables you to determine your future outcome by planning what to do now to achieve it. Among the key advantages of this method is that it ensures that you don't seek out to solve the wrong problems. It also ensures that when you solve the problem, you solve it for good. Step 5, evaluate potential solutions for feasibility and effectiveness. After generating and writing down all of the ideas, now it's time to combine and evaluate them. In evaluating the potential options, consider resources available, possible constraints, the culture and norms, and other criteria that might impact your evaluation and decision. You also need to be very systematic here. Identify and evaluate the relative strengths and weaknesses of possible solutions. Generate a variety of criteria and then select the most important for your problem. Is it cost, expediency, pleasure, time involvement? In this step, every generated alternative must be evaluated against the set of criteria or standards so that the most likely best among all identified options will be considered. Be sure to be objective and fair in judging the said choices. It is important to become open with all the options being considered. Step 6. Take action. Now, you've found your creative, feasible solutions. The next step is creating an action plan to implement the ideas. Establish realistic timelines to take actions and stick to it. Determine your need, obstacles or difficulties and specify short and long-term steps. After all the choices have been evaluated carefully and tactfully, then next and last for this model is to accept the course of action and have it carried out to solve the identified problem. Again, like all other models designed to help solve a problem, the individual utilizing such model must be tactful in being optimistic yet realistic in considering alternatives for a certain problem. For this particular model, the key is to employ creativity in the context of identifying the best solution for the problem. So we've covered the creative problem solving. Now let's move on to the critical thinking. Critical thinking is the ability to think clearly and rationally, understanding the logical connection between ideas. It has been the subject of much debate and thought since the time of early Greek philosophers such as Plato and Socrates, and has continued to be a subject of discussion into the modern age. Now, some people believe that critical thinking hinders creativity because it requires following the rules of logic and rationality. But creativity might require breaking rules. This is a misconception. Critical thinking is quite compatible with thinking out of the box, challenging consensus, and pursuing less popular approaches. If anything, critical thinking is an essential part of creativity because we need to be critical thinkers to evaluate and improve our creative ideas. In essence, critical thinking requires you to use your ability to reason. It's about being an active learner rather than a passive recipient of information. So how would we identify with someone who is thinking critically? Well, someone with critical thinking skills can understand the links between the ideas, determine the importance and relevance of arguments and ideas, recognize, build and appraise arguments, identify inconsistencies and errors in reasoning, approach problems in a consistent and systematic way, reflect on the justification of their own assumptions, beliefs and values. So, critical thinking is thinking about things in certain ways so as to arrive at the best possible solution in the circumstances that the thinker is aware of. In more everyday language, it's a way of thinking about whatever is presently occupying your mind so you can come to the best possible conclusion. Employers want employees with well-founded skills in these areas. So they often ask these 4 questions when assessing an employee's suitability for a position. Evaluation of information. How well do you assess the quality and relevance of information? Analysis and synthesis of information. How well do you analyze and synthesize data and information? Drawing conclusions. How well do you form a conclusion from your analysis? Acknowledging alternative explanations or viewpoints. How well do you consider other options and acknowledge that your answer is not the only perspective? When an employer says they want employees who are good at solving complex problems, they are saying that they want employees possessing the following skills. Analytical thinking. A person who can use logic and critical thinking to analyze a situation. Critical thinking. A person who makes reasoned judgments that are logical and well thought out. Initiative. A person who will step up and take action without being asked. A person who looks for opportunities to make a difference. Creativity. A person who is an original thinker and has the ability to go beyond traditional approaches. Resourcefulness. a person who will adapt to new or difficult situations and devise ways to overcome obstacles. Determination, a person who is persistent and does not give up easily. Results-oriented, a person whose focus is on getting the problem resolved. Two of the major components of problem-solving skills are critical thinking and analytical reasoning. These two skills are at the top of skills required of applicants by employers. Here are some more ways to improve your critical thinking skills. Now, while you might already possess many of the skills mentioned previously, it may be helpful to consider other areas for improvement, especially for specific skills listed on a job description you are applying for. It's always possible to improve your critical thinking skills through practice and extended educational or vocational opportunities. To further improve your critical thinking skills, consider taking some of the following steps. Expand your industry, specific or technical skills to help you more easily identify problems. Take additional courses in your industry that require critical thinking and analysis. Actively volunteer to solve problems for your current employer. Seek advice from professionals in your field or your desired industry. Play solo and cooperative games that require critical thinking skills, such as analysis and inference. So when we want to solve problems creatively and also put out our critical thinking skills to the test, mind mapping is a tool that you could put to good use. Mind mapping is the graphical representation of text content. It is being proposed as a technique to brainstorm and summarize information, as well as a study method. Using mind maps can help to bypass the usual panic instinct of the brain when confronted with a problem to solve. When faced with a problem, we automatically panic with symptoms of intense fear, a racing heart, breathlessness, and trembling, according to the new scientist. Not ideal for getting into a problem-solving frame of mind at all. Instead of forcing your mind to come up with a solution, which can sometimes result in stress, mind mapping opens possibilities and calms you. When you mind map for problem solving, you instantly gain more clarity, so you can find answers more easily. You view the problem as a positive challenge and an opportunity to show off your creative skills. So what are the benefits for mind mapping when problem solving? Mind maps contain all of the elements of your problem in one visual take. Here's why they are so useful for problem solving. Mind maps prioritize the most important aspects of your problem, focusing your mind. The use of colors and images stimulate your brain, meaning that you are engaged and ready to solve the problem. By using radial thinking, your brain generates more ideas and associations for many solutions. The three modes of thinking: lateral, divergent, and convergent thought. When it comes to problem solving and idea generation, three ways of thinking are often used: lateral, divergent, and convergent thinking strategies. Now, lateral thinking involves solving problems through an indirect and creative approach. It's all about using reasoning that is not immediately obvious and involving ideas that may not be obtainable by using only traditional step-by-step logic. Lateral thinking is very much about standing back, looking at the big picture, and understanding concepts. It also requires that you focus on the parts that have perhaps been overlooked, challenging assumptions, and seeking alternatives. Divergent thinking refers to the strategy of solving problems characterized by the proposal of a variety of possible solutions in an attempt to determine the one that works. It usually happens in a free-flowing, spontaneous manner, where multiple creative ideas are engendered and evaluated. Divergent thinking has been detected in people with personality characteristics such as these: curiosity, nonconformity, persistence, and readiness to take risks. Convergent thinking is a problem-solving technique involving the bringing together of different ideas from different participants or fields to determine a single best solution to a lucidly defined problem. In other words, This is a kind of thinking that concentrates on finding out the single best or frequently correct solution to a problem or answer to a question. Convergent and divergent thinking are similar in that both thinking strategies are used to determine solutions to problems. Not just that, but both strategies are directed at determining the best solutions. It is frequently seen that problems are solved through a blend of convergent and divergent thinking. So creative problem solving and critical thinking are considered key skills for this uncertain future, especially considering how remote work seems to be becoming more and more popular as the years go by. In the future, workers will be likely selected based on their ability to be independent from micromanaging and able to work with less supervision and even away from the office. Mastering these skills will definitely put you ahead of the game.